Hi everyone, so as you know, throughout the year I'm doing these book reviews, and today's book is called Job Free by Jake Dessalles, and it says 4 ways to quit the rat race and achieve financial freedom on your terms. So Jake Dessalles is an investor and author who writes about entrepreneurship, financial independence and freedom. In the year 2000, he founded Intelligent Space, an award-winning consultancy that led innovation in the field of pedestrian movement, simulation and analysis. In 2010, he sold his business, quit the rat race and retired early at the age of 38. He's also the author of Becoming an Entrepreneur, How to Find Freedom and Fulfillment as a Business Owner. So the whole book is based on the idea of there's 2 concepts really, and that's how I found this book. One is the FIRE movement, so it stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. If you go on YouTube, there's so many podcasts and people talking about this movement. It's also on this idea of unjobbing. So the definition in the book of unjobbing is letting go of the preoccupation with and self-inflicted domination and life consumption by an occupation while consciously and joyfully reclaiming life. So all it means is that you are not preoccupied or obsessed with working, that you choose to. Unjobbing doesn't mean you sit on the sofa all day and watch Netflix, because you still have to live. So it's looking at how you can live your life in a better way and have more freedom and make more choices around doing the jobs that you enjoy and living the life that you want. So it says to you that it says in here that unjobbing is a way to live a job-free lifestyle without having achieved financial independence. So maybe you haven't got to that point of extreme saving where you can live off your savings. Maybe you are still having to do side hustles here and there, but you're doing the type of work that you want to do rather than the type of work you feel you have to do. So in the book, it talks about 4 ways to get to financial freedom or to live a job-free life. The first one is to save your way to a job-free life, so extreme savings. So it talks about if you're a couple and you're both earning relatively high incomes, or even if it's just, one person has got a higher income, it encourages you to live off just one income. Because imagine if you save the other income for 5 to 10 years, you will have a hefty amount of money to live off. So that's one option. Strategy number 2 is to earn money outside a regular job doing what you love. So that just means that you probably commit to say 5 or 10 years in your 9 to 5 or any job that you're doing. And you then do outside work, which lots of people do anyway, side hustles, but you save all of that money. Or you get to a point where you have enough to live off so that you can just do the side hustles and quit your job. Number 3 is to create a business that supports your lifestyle. So that is where you build a business that you are actually then going to move into. So similar to sort of myself. So I've always, since I became a qualified counsellor, I've always been doing the counselling, but I'm also a qualified social worker. So the social work was always the salary that was allowing me to live that life and pay all my bills. But my counselling money was then going back into the business, which is why I'm where I am now, because I've put the money into like building the business. So eventually you would move into just doing the self-employment or just running the business. And number 4 is build a business potentially so that you can earn money, and then you would achieve financial independence and sell it. So that business doesn't have to necessarily be something you're passionate about. It's about making money. It's about building a successful business and then selling it, and that's how you're going to get your money from there. So there's a few things in here that I want to talk about, so I've put little notes in here. So I want to read a bit of the introduction. So Peter's story. So sometimes a single conversation can change your life by opening your mind to possibilities never dreamed of. So it happened when Peter told me how he planned to become a millionaire, retire early and never work again. At the age of 16, I was trying to make sense of Marxism. My parents were both socialists and I wanted to be one too. But the more I read about Marxism, the less sense it made to me. My mum suggested that I speak to a man called Peter who had previously been involved in the same political group. When I met Peter, he was in his mid-20s and I was a teenager. He had a well-paid job in the city. So it goes on to talk about how he would meet up with Peter every week and they would talk, and Peter would give him ideas about setting up his own business. So after a couple of years after we met, Peter and I had the conversation that changed my life. By this time, Peter had left his city job and set up his own business. So Peter told me that his goal was to become a millionaire and retire early. Everything Peter planned to do, he would accomplish. So he accomplished it. And what it led on to is the author borrowing some money off Peter and setting up his own successful business and then being able to pay back that loan. But the end of the story sort of talks about how Peter, once he got to $1 million, he wasn't that happy, and then things started to go downhill from there. And then it goes on to sort of talk about why that happened. So what it talks about is there is nothing inherently exploitative about jobs. In fact, your job can serve to help build for a job-free future, as I will describe. I don't believe jobs are evil. It's just far more fulfilling to be your own boss and work for your dream rather than have a boss and work for someone else's dream. And he talks about, using your paycheck in a way to help you. So it's saying, also talks about financial independence. You may aspire to have the kind of lifestyle where you no longer have to work at all, having the financial freedom to do whatever you want with your time. This doesn't imply sitting on the couch watching TV all day. If you want to do lots of productive activities that you find fulfilling, more power to you. It talks about, being financially free is not necessarily the same as being rich. The objective is not to stop doing anything productive. It is to stop doing work that you don't want to do. So that's the key thing. Financial freedom means that you can choose. You can say yes or no to clients. You can say yes or no to what days you work. It also you need to get to a level before you can do that. Building a business is tough. It's hard work. It's Monday to Sunday some weeks. It's not work. It's work. When I started my business, I was literally, apart from Christmas Day and my birthday, I was working every bank holiday. I was working every Sunday. I was working Boxing Day. I was working Christmas Eve. I was working New Year's Eve. There was no taking time off. As time's gone on, you realise that that's not sustainable, but also that's not what you want to do, but you have to build up to it. So it just goes on to say, really, he talks just a lot about the mindset. Unjobbing is a way to live a job-free lifestyle without having achieved financial independence. Rather than aiming to retire early, unjobbers seek to redesign their working lives to remove the aspects of work that they don't feel fulfilled doing. So in a nutshell, the book is talking about either the concept of financial independence, retiring early, unjobbing, being selective about the jobs that you choose, being clear about if you're going to create financial independence, what you're going to move on to. And there's some chapters that talk about the psychological impact when you are unjobbing and where people don't get it. Same as if you leave your 9 to 5 to set up a business. Not everyone's going to get it. And it gives you some tips on how you can negotiate that. Because if it's really what you want to do, there are going to be people that judge you. You're going to feel like you're unemployed and that you're lazy, and people might just see it as being, why are you quitting your job to do nothing? But you have to be solid in what you want to do. So I gave this book 8.5 out of 10. The reason being, it's informative, it's interesting. There's a lot of things it helps me to think about, reflect on, and the author is very clear in how he describes things. I would recommend that you also check out some of the podcasts. Go on YouTube and put the words FIRE movement, so financial independence, retire early, or put in the words unjobbing, and a lot of stuff will come up. So that's the book, Job Free, 4 Ways to Quit the Rat Race and Achieve Financial Freedom on Your Terms by Jake Desarlis. I'll be back with another book review soon. Let me know what you think, and also if you've read this book as well. Thanks for watching. Bye.